Hello everyone, I'm Xiaoling. Welcome back to my channel. It's 2 a.m. and I can't sleep. Earlier today my ex-husband called me. He asked me for money. The truth is, I don't have any. Right now, I don't have a job. Life has been difficult, and every expense matters. Sometimes I try not to think about it, but tonight, it keeps running through my mind. Instead of lying awake, I decided to go outside and take a walk. People often think a city falls asleep after midnight, but that's not really true. There are still people working, people cleaning the streets, people selling food, and people trying to make a living. Maybe I'm not the only one carrying worries tonight. So, if you'd like, come with me. Let's walk through the streets of China at 2 a.m. and see who is still awake. My ex-husband and I divorced a few years ago. There was a time when we had a happy life together. We worked hard, ran our own restaurant, and believed we were building a better future. Then, COVID happened. During the years of strict lockdowns, our restaurant couldn't survive. We were forced to close the business, and we were left with a huge amount of debt. At first, I believed we could face it together. I didn't mind starting over from nothing. I believed that if we worked hard, we could slowly pay off what we owed and rebuild our lives. But after losing everything, he couldn't seem to accept the new reality. He became obsessed with finding a way to get rich again. One failed opportunity led to another. He came home later, and sometimes he didn't come home at all. He started drinking heavily to escape the pressure. Later, I discovered that he was seeing other women. Even when I confronted him, he no longer seemed to care about how I felt. As our financial situation became worse, the debt kept growing. Instead of taking responsibility, he continued spending money recklessly. Sometimes when he was drunk, he became violent and hit me. I kept hoping things would change. I wanted to believe we could save our marriage. But little by little, I realized I was the only one still trying. Eventually, I made the hardest decision of my life. I filed for divorce and walked away. It wasn't because I stopped believing in marriage. It was because I wanted to save myself. Leaving was painful, but staying would have hurt even more. Now, I'm trying to rebuild my life one day at a time. It's not easy, but every small step forward gives me hope that one day I'll find peace again. Looking at them, I realize something. Everyone is carrying something you can't see. Maybe I'm not the only one struggling tonight. I finally arrived at the night market. For a moment, I didn't know what I wanted to eat, or even where I wanted to go. As I looked around, I noticed that almost every vendor was still working hard. Some were grilling skewers, some were cooking noodles, and others were waiting patiently for one last customer before calling it a night. Next to me, a small snack shop was cleaning up for the day. They had stayed open until now and were finally getting ready to close. Watching them made me realize something. Everyone here is working hard, trying to earn a living. Maybe we all carry different worries, but tonight, under the same lights, we're all just doing our best.
炒饭多少钱一份？
炒饭8块。
As I walked through the night market, one food stall caught my attention. I stood there for a moment, watching the cook skillfully toss fried rice in the hot wok. The sound of the sizzling oil and the aroma drifting through the air made it impossible to walk away. I decided to order a plate of fried rice and something cold to drink. Maybe a simple meal can't solve my problems, but tonight it might help quiet my restless mind, even if it's just for a little while.
现在上班早一点是吧？下班下的早一点是吧？现在上班早一点。我说你现在下班下的早，没那么晚了。
While I was eating, I overheard a conversation between the vendor and a few regular customers. They told me this night, market stays open until sunrise. At first I was surprised. Then they explained why. This neighborhood is surrounded by factories, warehouses, and industrial parks. Many businesses operate around the clock, with workers rotating through day, evening, and overnight shifts. Some people finish work at midnight. Others don't get off until 3 or 4 in the morning. After a long shift, the last thing most of them want to do is go home and cook. So they come here for a hot meal before heading back to their small apartments. That's why these food stalls keep their lights on through the night. The night market isn't just a place to eat. For many workers, it's the last stop before they finally get to rest. Watching them reminded me that while most of the city is asleep, thousands of people are still working to keep everything moving. The factories never really stop. And neither do the people who keep them running.
中杯大杯。
中杯吧，
好的。
多少钱
多少钱？
？10块的。
One thing I really like about this night market is how affordable everything is. Most of the customers here are factory workers, delivery drivers, and people finishing long shifts. After working all day or all night, they want a hot meal that won't cost half their paycheck. That's exactly who this market is built for. Another reason the prices stay low is the competition. There are food stalls everywhere, often selling very similar dishes. If one vendor charges too much, customers can simply walk a few steps to the next stall. So the vendors compete not only with their cooking, but also with their prices. In a way, everyone is looking out for everyone else. The workers get an inexpensive meal, the vendors keep customers coming back, and the night market stays alive until morning. It's a simple system, but somehow it works. I picked up my fried rice and my milk tea. For a moment, I thought that would be enough, but somehow it still felt like something was missing. So I walked over to a small barbecue stand and found an empty seat. The smell of charcoal filled the air as smoke drifted into the night. I ordered a few skewers and a cold beer. Around me, people were laughing, talking with friends, or quietly eating after a long shift. No one seemed to be in a hurry. I took my first sip and looked around. The truth is, I wasn't really here because I was hungry. I came because I didn't want to go home just yet. Tonight, my apartment felt too quiet. Sometimes, when your heart feels heavy, being surrounded by strangers can make you feel a little less alone. I watched the cook turn the skewers over the fire, while the sound of sizzling meat mixed with conversations from nearby tables. Life keeps moving. People keep eating, working, laughing, and heading home. Maybe tomorrow my problems will still be there. But for this one quiet moment, I allowed myself to simply sit, breathe, and let the night slow everything down. I'd like to dedicate my first toast tonight to all of you, to everyone watching this video. Thank you. Before I started this YouTube channel, I spent a lot of time alone. I overthought everything. Some days it felt like I was carrying more negativity than hope, and I wasn't sure where my life was going. Then I uploaded my very first video. Little by little, your comments began to appear. Some of you shared your own stories. Some sent kind emails. Some even chose to support my channel with donations. Every message, every view, and every word of encouragement reminded me that someone, somewhere in the world, was listening. You may not realize it, but you've given me something far more valuable than money. You've given me a reason to keep creating, and something to look forward to tomorrow. So, tonight, I'd like to raise this glass to all of you. In China, making a toast isn't just about drinking. It's a way of showing gratitude, respect, and appreciation to the people who have made a difference in your life. If you ever visit China one day, I hope we'll have the chance to share a meal together. And I'd love to raise another glass with you, this time face to face, and simply say, thank you. don't drink very often. Usually, it's only during major holidays or when friends invite me out. Most of the time, I don't even think about alcohol. But tonight feels different. I can't really explain why. Maybe it's been one of those days. Maybe I've been carrying around thoughts that have been building up for a long time. I wasn't looking to get drunk. I just wanted to slow down for a while. To sit here, listen to the sounds of the night, and let my mind become a little quieter. Sometimes, a cold beer isn't about the drink itself. It's about giving yourself permission to pause, to stop thinking, even if it's only for a few minutes. A car pulled up a short distance away, and a group of hungry customers stepped out. Almost immediately, one of the waiters hurried over with a big smile, greeting them before they had even reached the market. Here, every customer matters. With so many food stalls competing for business, no one wants to miss the chance to serve a new table. I glanced over to see what would happen. The group looked around for a moment, smiled politely, and kept walking. It wasn't personal. That's just how a night market works. Every customer has dozens of choices, and every vendor is hoping they'll choose their table instead. For a few seconds, you can almost feel the quiet competition playing out. One table gets a little busier, another keeps waiting for the next opportunity. By this point, I could feel the beer starting to catch up with me. I wasn't drunk, just a little lightheaded. The noise around me seemed softer, and the night felt a little quieter than before. I looked at the empty bottles and the last few skewers on the table. I figured it was probably a good time to call it a night. So, I asked for the bill. As I stood up, I took one last look around the night market. Some vendors were still grilling over glowing charcoal. Others were wiping down tables, waiting for one last customer before heading home. The city wasn't ready to sleep yet. But I was. It had been a long night. Maybe I hadn't found all the answers I was looking for. But somehow, I felt a little lighter than when I first arrived. Sometimes that's enough. By the time I started walking home, the sky was already beginning to brighten. The city that had kept me company through the night was slowly waking up to a brand new day. When I finally got home, it was already a little after 5 in the morning. I quietly closed the door and stood there for a moment. Just a few hours earlier, I had walked out into the night carrying a heavy heart. I wasn't expecting to find any life-changing answers, and I didn't. But sometimes, healing doesn't happen all at once. Sometimes it comes from a simple walk, a warm meal, a conversation with strangers, or simply realizing that you're not the only person awake while the rest of the world is sleeping. Tonight reminded me that every light I saw in the distance belonged to someone with their own story, their own struggles, their own hopes for tomorrow. Maybe that's what connects all of us. If you've made it to the end of this journey with me, thank you for spending this night together. Take care of yourself. And no matter what you're going through right now, I hope tomorrow is a little kinder to you. I'll see you in the next video.